In Insight, we delve deeper into the restoration of US Cuba ties. The recent announcement by the former rivals is raising hopes of building stronger relations, but challenges remain. One example, Cuba has announced it will not extradite a US fugitive wanted for killing an American police officer back in the 1970s. Let's turn now to Michael Voss, who's in Havana with more.
Mike, her name's Joanne Chesimard, also known as Assata Shakur. She was a member of the Black Panther movement and Black Liberation Army. She escaped from jail in the US, ended up in Cuba in 1984, and was given political asylum. There are calls for President Obama not to renew diplomatic ties until she's returned. The Cubans say there is no extradition treaty yet with the US, and there are people in the United States Cuba would like to see come back here, accused of letting off terrorist bombs and other attacks in Havana. Now, the question is this enough to derail the whole process, or are these the sort of conflicts that are going to have to be resolved once there are embassies in both countries? Now, opinions are divided on this, especially in Florida. A recent opinion poll there showed an age difference amongst Cuban Americans, but with a majority of those over the age of 65 opposed to improving ties. But what about old revolutionaries here in Cuba?
Manuel Yepe and his wife Marta Nunez are Communist Party members and lifelong supporters of the Cuban Revolution. He's the former head of Cuba's news agency, Prensa Latina. As a student, he joined Fidel Castro's underground 26th of July movement in 1955 and fought in the urban insurrection against Batista. He also went to Miami to bring back arms shipments for Fidel.
The weapons I brought were brought in 2 cars hidden in the doors.
Today, Manuel Yepe's study is full of photographs of him with Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. So what does he think about restoring diplomatic relations with the United States?
I think that negotiating this deal is a triumph for President Raúl Castro. We were never fighting against the United States. We were fighting against the oppression of the United States, but we had many Americans working with us, including in Miami.
Is this the beginning of the end for the revolution?
This is a sort of a stop. Okay, the round is finished, but not the fight. Now we have diplomatic relations. So we hope that things will happen. They will see how they can deal with us in a normal way, and we will see how we can keep on conducting our revolution to a socialist formation.
So this is my school yearbook from 1960.
Marta Nunez came from a wealthy family and was educated at an exclusive American high school in Havana. She's the only one of her entire class who didn't move to the United States after the revolution. Marta Nunez went on to become a diplomat, posted to the Soviet Union, and then a sociology professor.
My reaction for her was first, wow, we're going to have respectful relations, normal relations for the first time.
Are you worried that Cuba's going to become America's playground again and fill up with McDonald's?
I'm aware that that's a challenge, but I don't think we're going to become a playground, and we're not going to be a Cuban colony anymore, because we have experience already. We've had experience of 55 years of doing our things our way without the Americans. Now, with the influx of their capital, it's going to be less hard for us.
Mike, I think a lot of people here are expecting that there will be economic benefits to closer ties. But I think there is a feeling also that it could take a lot longer to materialize than many people hope.
Michael, fascinating story. Thanks so much for sharing it with us. Michael Voss, live from Havana.